So strategy developers are keeping us on our toes this week, especially on our toes. As you might hear, I'm a little bit sick, so that's why my voice sounds weird. But right after the Total War Three Kingdoms announcement, one day after, they actually would have been on the same day if there hadn't been a broken embargo on Three Kingdoms. So I'm kind of pleased about that, actually. They've announced Stellaris Apocalypse. This is the next major expansion for Stellaris. I've been thinking for quite a while about what they could actually do to compete with the patch features, because just the patch features for Stellaris 2.0 are just so sweeping and amazing and huge that I was like, what could they possibly pair with this that will make me excited about, getting the DLC on top of the patch? So they've announced it. It's not mind-blowing, but there is some pretty cool stuff in here. I'm just going to run through what was announced in today's Dev Diary very quickly, because DM and I are going to be doing an entire episode of Talk Shop on the Dev Diaries for the Stellaris 2.0 patch and what we know about the expansion so far. So, we're getting planet destroyers. This is your Death Star. You can blow up a planet. You can use a neutron sweep to clear all life off of a planet and make it ready for your habitation without having to bombard it into a tomb world, although that's arguably more fun, especially if you're playing as machines. This one's actually might be the most evil in a way, but the pacifists get the ability to surround a planet in a permanent energy shield so that the people inside can go on living their lives, but they'll be cut off from the galaxy forever. I could see some really interesting RP runs done with that. And there's also one for the Driven Assimilator machine empire that sends down a nanobot swarm and instantly assimilates everybody on the planet into your hive mind. Oh yeah, there's also the God Ray. This is a pretty interesting one that converts all organic pops to spiritualist and destroys all machine and synthetic pops, as well as massively increasing spiritualist ethics attraction. That's kind of the weirdest one, but I kind of like that they're doing weird ones. Personally, I'd love one for the Exterminator machine empire that just kills all organic life on the planet and turns it into a machine world. That would be pretty cool. I would enjoy that. And yeah, so that's that. They're going to be a standalone ship that currently doesn't have any defenses on it. Wiz has said he probably thinks it makes sense to give them some point defenses. I tend to agree. They're very slow. They take a long time to charge up, so you're basically going to have local supremacy to deploy one, because your enemy has a chance to go blow it up if you don't defend it. The technical name for the ship type is the Colossus, but that is not the only new ship type, because we are also getting Titans, finally. I've predicted this was coming for quite a while, where it's a size of ship that's much larger than a battleship. They have titanic weapons, which can actually blow up a battleship, or certain battleships, in one hit. No medium or small slots whatsoever. It's all large and up. So this is going to be a capital ship for killing other capital ships, sort of the flagship of your fleet. I like that a lot. I think this is going to be a great addition to the combat on top of everything else that's coming. I can't wait to build a few of these and give them really cool names and just see them kind of be the anchor of the fleet. And, when a Titan goes up, the tide of battle has turned. Very similar to how it plays out in EVE, which I've been part of some big space battles in EVE, and that can be a lot of fun. So we're also getting ion cannons. This is sort of the static defense answer to a Titan. It's a defense platform, which again, defense platforms are like a mini fleet you can build around your star bases that, help it defend itself better. So the ion cannon is just a huge gun that's good at shooting down capital ships. Also, ion cannons and Titans are both going to have extremely long range, which is going to create some interesting new tactical considerations with that. So some of the other features that we haven't seen a dev diary on yet, but we have just the blurbs from the expansion page. We're going to have a new type of sort of civilization called Marauders. These are non-planet bound. They kind of describe them as space Mongols. So they control territory, but they don't own planets. They just live on orbital stations They can raid settled empires. They can make tributaries out of settled empires. You can hire them as mercenaries, which is pretty cool. It sounds like they're kind of trying to incorporate some elements of how the Roman Empire dealt with barbarians into Stellaris. But they can also trigger a new mid-game crisis if they unite under a Great Khan, who will become sort of this big, expansive threat to deal with. I think that is excellent. I think more mid-game and end-game, for lack of a better term, historical events, even though they're not historical, is exactly the right direction to be taking Stellaris to make that part of the game more interesting. We're getting new Ascension perks and civics that haven't been talked about much, other than the Ascension perk that lets you build Colossi, obviously. And Unity ambitions, so you're actually going to have something to do with Unity in the end game, which I like a lot. I don't like that it just sits around after you've finished out your tree. And new Andreas Waldetoft music, which is obviously awesome. So that's about all we know right now. Stay tuned for that lengthy podcast when we're going to be going over everything that's been announced so far for the patch and the expansion, discussing how excited we are about it, our thoughts on it, and kind of teasing the return of our regular Stellaris series when it comes out, which we've already teased quite a bit. So be sure to subscribe. Check out at Loresworn Order on Twitter. I am at AsaTJ, that is ASATJ, and we'll see you next time.